I obviously go ahead. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to November 13th, 2024, our Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District monthly meeting. Monthly, we meet most months. Scheduled from 7 to 8, and let's get going. All to order. Tonight's meeting is an open meeting in accordance with the New York State Public Open Meetings Law. We are live on Zoom from Reserve 4 in our community building as always, and this meeting is being recorded. And you can see it on the YouTube account for BDL. And that's just something I think that's valuable, because from time to time, one of the plans would be in the future to take some little snippets and parts of meetings that are important, and be able to pull off a portion of it and be able to repost it on social media or send it out to the community via email. So that's one of the reasons why it's nice to be able to record these meetings the way we do it. Forum board roll call. We currently have a 6 out of 7 member board. So that means in order to have a quorum, that's a majority, we have to have four board members, and we have 4 board members here. I believe there are still at least one more en route. I'm Christopher Dunn, the chair. Next we have
Larry Weinberg. How are you? Vice chair.
Christy Bolger. I don't know what I am.
A member.
You are a board member. You're an esteemed board member, our newest addition.
Jason Eunice, secretary.
Ever talk negative? Or being questioned. All right. All board members are volunteers. Currently, our board is comprised of elected members with a 3-year term. Those appointed this year serve until the next BDL election day, which is the second week of December. This year is December 10th, and we'll talk about the election shortly. They also serve within the current timeline of the 3-year term. For example, you just said Will Jurek.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've been saying Will Jurek. So
I'll answer that.
I have a lot of students, and I always say, please say your name.
Yeah.
So Chrissy Wilger's position is already in the 3rd of a 3-year slot. So that's something that we'll talk later on. All right, Pledge of Allegiance, everybody, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
Aye. Motion.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion has been adopted. Everybody got a chance to read it before, right? All right, our last board meeting was held on September 18th. It was a crisp, clean 1 hour and a few seconds, and I had to run off to play a softball game at night. But this one is going to be a slightly different one. We're going to kind of drill down into a couple topics, but we do want to try to get this done as fast as possible. We're going to focus on the election. So I'm going to ask the board members, why is it important? Why is it important that what do you think is important that we have an election?
Well, look, we've got this beautiful community, and things around here are, we like to take care of them and make sure that we keep up the quality of life and protect water, and be sure that there aren't things that could affect or impact all of our community residents, but it's all done by volunteer. So none of us are compensated. So it's really important to get as many people involved as possible throughout the community, not only for a broad net of all different viewpoints, but we have 25, 30 people who are always involved, and then we have 800 who may just sit in the sidelines. So I'd love to have you join us and be part of it, just so we can really get the team together. So.
Yeah, well said. And I Chrissy?
No.
Chrissy was brave enough to join us recently. And that's part of it. The hardest part is probably just the stepping up. Many of you have shown up for volunteer days, and if I could maybe just make an analogy to that, anybody that's come for our volunteer days, being on the board is pretty much just as easy breezy, low pressure. I know some of you are probably going, what? No pressure. It's because it's a group. You're not by yourself. We support each other. And, a few short years ago, none of us were involved in this way. We all have come from being, whether we were born in New Windsor, or at least lived our whole lives in New Windsor, or we came from other places in the last 10 or 20 years. We decided to help out, probably because, I mean, for me, I was just asked. And then here I am.
Yeah, I did a lot of volunteering in the beginning, before I was even knew what the board really was all about. And then, through the volunteering and, just got a little bit more immersed in things that had to get done around here. And then I was propositioned and they said, hey, look, we'd like to have you join the board. And I did a 6 month, just a quick 6 month trial period, but yeah, I stayed on and I've been here now 3.5 years. So my term is up, but I'll be running again. So get involved. We really need you.
It's good to hear, and we currently have one open slot still regardless, so at the moment, we're not filled. We would normally have 4 from New Windsor, 2 from Cornwall, and 1 from Woodland Grove. And we get it, it's a big deal for some people to take on, and please come to us and talk to us. If we start a conversation, you'd be surprised at how approachable everybody here, especially Fred. He's not here. Okay, so with that, official board communication method is always going to be video at gmail.com. We also do kind of use as residents. There's a private Facebook group, but it's not affiliated with us. We do say this every meeting, so I know some of you are rolling your eyes, but we have to say this. It's not affiliated with the district board, and the admins are district residents, not board members. So if you ever say something and you get tossed off, it's not us. It's another resident, but it's not the board. OrangeCountyGov.com, government tab, Beaver Dam Lake is how you find our website. And okay, so back kind of to the board election. This is just to give the official word. So please take notice that the annual election of Beaver Dam Lake Rehabilitation District of Orange County, which will take place Tuesday, December 10th. 2024, between the hours of 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. right here in this building at Beaver Dam Community Building at 557 Shore Drive, New Windsor. Only Beaver Dam District residents, of course, are eligible to vote. And this will be run, as always, from the Orange County Board of Election. There are 5 positions available officially to run for. 2 members of the district board are going to be from New Windsor. 2 will be elected for a 3-year term, and that will commence January 1st of 2025 and will end December 31st of 2027. Then there is 1 member of the district board from Cornwall, which from the Cornwall section of the district, for a 2-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2026. To elect 1 member of the district board from Cornwall section of the district for a 3-year term. So there's a 2-year and a 3-year available from Cornwall, and both from Windsor are both 3 years. I'm not going to go into the reasons why at the moment, but the differences do have to do with the fact that we want to stagger our board membership and that everybody doesn't begin and end on the same day and kaput or finished. So we'd like to have overlap. That's one, and that was set long before any member of the board now was here. And then lastly, elect 1 member of the district board from Blooming Grove. That would be Kevin Boyle's prior position, who's also serving in it now as an appointee, for a 2-year term, because he's finishing the 1st year right now. It was a 3-year, now it's down to a 2. Commencing on January 1st of 25 and ending on December 31st of 26. All resident electors of the district shall be entitled to vote at this election and may vote for any position on the ballot. A resident elector is a resident of the district who is duly registered to vote with the Orange County Board of Elections for at least 30 days. So you have to be a resident for 30 days before, and you would register. If you just moved in 31 days before, you still have to go to the Orange County Board and register to vote. If you're not a registered voter here, then you would not be eligible, even if you were here for 3 years. You still have to be a registered member of the electorate. Any person desiring to have his or her name appear on this ballot as a candidate for any office listed above must file a nominating petition on the form provided by the district that is signed by at least 20 resident electors of the district. All candidates must reside within the section of the district in which they are running. and must be a resident elector of the district. So just to clear that up, if you live in New Windsor, you can get people from Blooming Grove who live in the district. As long as they live in the district, they can go on that sheet. So it's not, if you live in Cornwall, only Cornwall residents, it's anybody from the district is eligible. So as Larry said, there's over 800 homes and way more people that were available. It's a good opportunity to possibly meet neighbors. If you come and approach the board, we will sign. So just talk to us. If you want to be involved, you'll probably get at least 10 of your signatures right off the bat. But it has to be on an official nominating petition form. And those were available today. They actually went up a couple hours ago. Today on November 13th, and they may be obtained from the Orange County Commissioner of Public Works. If you'd like to go there, PO Box 509 and 2455 2459 Route 17 in Goshen, so it's the DPW building. Or by email BDL board email. That sounds like Frederick. No, Kevin. Okay, Mr. Boyle.
Hey.
In the room. All right.
So it is an official election, so please make sure that you turn out, spread the word, even if we don't have a hot contest. It is really, it's about pride, and you love to know that the residents come out just to support you, even if you're running unopposed. So nobody wants to run for the election and have 4 people show up and get 4 votes. So a few years ago when we ran, we had at least 50 people show up. So we'd like to see if, even if it's uncontested, even if you don't know who's running, come down, check it out. Please put in a vote. I'd love to see 100 people show up to vote and show some support. And that's another way you can support instead of maybe you can't volunteer at this time, but come down and help out by putting in a vote. It's an official election. So believe it or not, there'll be the Board of Elections here running it, and we would love to see a great turnout.
And not gonna lie, running unopposed last year and getting a certain number of votes that I got, it shows support. It's nice feeling. Okay, see.
One thing for that,
Sure, go ahead.
get more than 20 votes. You want
Yeah.
30, 40, because if any were disqualified and you only get 20
Yeah, your
for signatures, then you are unable to run. Also, bring it to the DPW. The mail is not fast enough to get there on time.
Thank you. I think we bounced that around so many times we forget, and yes, and being someone that one time had a mail faux pas, mess my spot on the ballot once I should be saying that myself. So no, it was true. It was like my wife put in and I put in, and hers got in, mine didn't. Mine got sent back to my house and hers made it in.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Donna, if you're a resident, you can vote. So come down to the building on December 10th from 3 to 8 and place your votes. And again, I'm not exactly sure where you reside, but you can vote for any of our board members.
Okay, anybody has any questions? Once again, please approach the board with any questions you have about the election. Nomination petitions are available on the
Files here.
we'll also send them out via district email. That is another
Just
way.
click on minutes for the steps and just let it.
Might be coming back.
We do, can we move on to
Jason's
safety?
out.
Yeah, Ron? Y'all go? All right. Take care. Enjoy it.
All right.
All right, Larry's now the IT man.
Good luck.
So just make sure that we're recording.
Yes.
All right, so safety, please report all district town emergencies to 911. Fire danger, we smell it from day to day. Fort Greenwood Lake is on fire. There's been several areas in the Hudson Valley that have been on fire. But sadly, we have to report that residents have been, and it's confirmed, unconfirmed, because I for one don't know exactly who's doing it, but it's been an issue recently. With igniting fireworks during a red flag warning and
Hard to believe.
an active wildfire that is taking the resources of the fire departments in this county. And I just have no words that are nuts. So I don't get it. If you see it, call that in, call the police, call 911. that is completely, and I will say it, dumb. Our leaves are down, humidity's been in the 20s and 30s on certain days, gusts in the 30s, 40s. It can happen like that, and Beaver Dam would be on fire. We are a community surrounded in trees. Surrounded in trees, it is unequivocally a terrible mistake to light anything right now. Cigarettes, out the window, all of it.
Gary.
So don't do it. Numerous small brush fires have been reported. All right, 10/28, county exec Steve M. Newhouse enacted the executive order declaring a countywide burn ban until further notice. 11/9, that's the beginning, I believe, as they're calling it, the Jennings Creek fire in Greenwood Lake. It continues to burn partially contained, sometimes it's contained, sometimes it's uncontained. The burn back lines have held and failed, and it's scary. It's scary over there. As we've heard, the choppers flying, the water drops all day, every day since. Just something I learned of, drivers on Storm King, 9W had to stop, put out a small brush fire on the 12th. They pulled off the side of the road and put out, so it's just happening constantly. So we don't know how many are going unreported, let alone the reported ones. Talk to a fireman, they will probably tell you, or a police officer. Email also on the 12th. This is something that the board sent out to local PDs. Keeping in contact with Cornwall and New Windsor Police Department, because those were the two police departments that responded. We wanted to show appreciation for their patrols this spring and summer and fall. Kind of just looking at the reserves, making sure people that don't belong there and people play nice do so. So basically checking for stickers and making sure residents are those that are there and not others that don't belong. Like I said, Chief Valeria of New Windsor, Deputy Police Chief Hollifield from New Windsor, Chief Gebert from Cornwall, Supervisor Bidetti and Supervisor Wojciechowski were also on that. So we got an email reply back from Brian Hollifield and Chief Gebert. We appreciate the feedback. As always, we'd like to know that our efforts are not only effective, but appreciated. I have forwarded your message to our patrol division so that they are aware and have your contact information if needed. As always, please feel free to contact New Windsor Police Department at any time. For assistance, respectfully, Brian Hollifield, Deputy Chief, Town of New Windsor Police. Another email from Joseph Gebert. Mr. Dunn, thank you for your kind words. We are happy to assist the Beaver Dam Lake community whenever we can. I look forward to the locked gates. So if we ever have any questions, who supports us putting up a gate at night or a rope, possibly on Reserve 8 or 2, which is further for something to speak about maybe over this winter. That is something that we can discuss from time to time. It's nighttime protection.
So as a board, we did approach the police departments directly and communicate that we would love to see some detailed enforcement, and they followed through. There were some people who were upset about that because they didn't have the proper documentation that they should have had. So it's unfortunate, but look, if you're a resident and you want to use the reserves, you need a sticker, and that's just the way it is. If you want to walk down there, and I'm sure you're not going to get harassed, but the idea is please follow through on these very simple rules that we have. We have asked for enforcement to try to keep our trespassing to a minimum, and the police departments have really followed through in a great way, and we appreciate it.
And stick around because we will have an update on our status of our new stickers shortly for next year and moving forward. Real quick, dam drawdown, a lake drawdown. So at the moment, the lake's probably down at least 4.5, 5 inches. So some people that live on the shorefronts, it's made it quite easy to even try to clean up your shorefront a little bit. So take advantage of that right now. You can break the leaves that are falling in that will create algae blooms later next year. So get on that. But if you can recall, we had a lot of rain last December into January, go figure. Now we have none. So we could do a drawdown, and we were going to do a drawdown for about an 8 to 10 day period. DPW was on board, DEC was on board, and we were going to do it for cleanup purposes. We just couldn't get it done because it kept raining. So it doesn't seem like at the moment we're having a problem doing that. So Right now, we're tentatively scheduled for sometime around Christmas, we'll let you know, and then it will go into the first. And some people are home, whether you're home or not, it really just takes a day to go out, if you're lakefront, go and, pull weeds, pull, leaves out, debris, anything. So anything you can pull out of the lake, pulls those nutrients out of the sum total that would add to, the algae next year, so that would help. All right, so where are we? All right, so something that we tabled from last meeting, there was a lower level pipe output inspection that happens every year. When Walter Willis was on the board, he was the person that, point person especially, talking to the county engineers. And since then, he's still a board support, and he actually went to this dam inspection this year. In the past, other board members have gone. The notes that I'm going to read are actually good news, I'll just tell you that ahead of time. And not that anything's getting better, it's just that nothing is getting worse. So these are Wally's notes from the September DPW inspection of the leak 24-inch lower level output pipe. So 2024 annual inspection, it was completed from 9:30 to 10:30. The engineers that were there were engineer from Tectonics, Orange County DPW, and that person actually is James Rugnetta. And there was a use of a soft dig camera that were there to put into the pipe to see the quality of the pipe. Lowering the lake level was not required as originally planned. DPW pumped out the downstream basin. So normally we have to open the sluice gates, relieve the pressure off the dam so that the basin isn't taking water, and then for that amount of time, they throw a trash pump in the basin, get the water out, and then they can check the rate, check if there's any issues. Because we've been so dry for the last how many months, it wasn't even needed. So it was quite an easy inspection. And they noted that camera inspection visually shown in leakage into the pipe is limited to the same spot, so nothing has changed. At 10 o'clock at 46, very specific, 46 feet from the outlet side, and based on the preliminary visual, it is about the same as 2023. So 10 o'clock on your clock, that part of the pipe, 46 feet in, it's the same bit of damage that was there before, nothing's changed. Tectonics, James Moynick, is the person that verified that. The presence of foam was noted in the leakage area. There's no apparent concern. The bucket test, which is a 1 gallon bucket test, was used to measure for a 15-second sample, which showed approximately 8.5 gallons per minute compared to the 7.5 gallons per minute in 2022 and 2023. And there's a connotation here that no, that's a preliminary measurement. That 1 gallon change is within the percent error. So is it different? It's not in terms of a lake. It's not really much different. 1 gallon. Sediment. There were no concerns regarding changes in sediment related to the under the dam erosion, as verified by DPW engineer James Rugnetta. Wally then asked about the frequency. He asked the DPW engineer to discuss the option of increasing frequency to every 2 years if there's no changes. And I think what that is, I'm interpreting that as decreasing the
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the notes, so I'm reading the total notes here.
Yep.
So instead of testing every year to maybe back down to every 2 years. I think that's what everybody thinks, you know? And Walter, I'm sure will be back there at some point and we can even ask him. Effects from the earthquake in April were considered, but were determined to have no impact. So we can close the door on that. That was just something that we tabled for a speedy meeting in September. It wasn't August. Okay, Chrissy is going to just give you some updates and stats on our swim beach.
73 of the scheduled consecutive days beach is open, so that means we're closed at all, right?
Not at all, not at all.
5 lifeguards, we had 4 confirmed to come back next season and may potentially fill 1 spot.
That's big.
Swim ropes were taken in, thank you.
Hey, I didn't know. Volunteers. Those
Swim
volunteers.
and guard chairs all put away by volunteers, need a replacement buoy, it broke free and it cracked.
Yeah, 11 too.
And then off-season improvements, do you wanna?
Oh, yeah, and it's about that buoy. Our buoys were kind of in the, hey, we gotta look at these and they're getting really old anyway, so we're probably gonna be purchasing 4 new buoys this winter. We have it in the budget anyway. One of our buoys cracked and started floating away right after we removed the ropes, a few weeks ago. Off-season improvements, so the paver border that was, installed temporarily for the beach, will go back once, you know, the weather turns in the spring probably, because we did add sand and made the beach bigger. Any areas that need to be planted or repaired and grass because of the moving around and the equipment, heavy equipment and all there's probably about 20 yards of, spill, 30 yards of fill sitting out there, so we're, anybody needs some fill, contact the board, and you can take some, believe me. Not all of it, we do need it in some places, but we are gonna utilize some of the fill that we've taken from the beach and use it to fill some areas, and other reserves, because there's some depressions and sinkhole. Jason, he added this before. Jason, by the way, Jason, one of our board members, secretary, he just had to run out. I don't know if it's an emergency, but he said he had to go. He brought up the idea of bringing in 3 trees or so, and I think they discussed that for a second. Right here on the driveway, I think what he was talking about, I mean, it sounds like something that's plausible, beautifying. Anybody have any type of trees that they're want to?
Along the fence?
So down the driveway, probably between the fence and the driveway, just we could think on it.
Sure.
Or maybe ask, I know a local arborist that lives off of Lakeview, so maybe talk to him in many ways, and he will be a good selection and aren't so costly, and you don't want to put a sapling in, we like something that's 2 years old, that's gonna take. We don't really salt the driveway so much because we usually close during storms, so tree that can take a little bit of salt, just things to think about. Okay, reserve properties, winter cold weather use, the ice safety that we always speak about, we're gonna do that in December, and you also see that in, other board. Community email, because once the cold weather's here, fun happens on the lake. And just that you need to make sure we have a lot of new residents that may or may not have ever lived near a lake, may not understand when ice is safe. And just I'll say this right now, there's no one from the board, there's no one from the county, there's no one from the town that's gonna go out there and be checking it, there's no green flag, there's no red flag. So if you're going to do it, it's very much on you, and you do not want to have search and rescue come out as that has happened in the past, unnecessarily, so. You know, in my view, it's pretty much unnecessary almost every time, because it's usually done where somebody should have just knocked on the fence. If the ice was very quick. Accidents do happen. Board member communication, so we mentioned burn ban on 10/28, the executive order was sent out to the community via our, so what this board member communication section of the agenda is just kind of restating any emails that have gone out to the community from the board. Just basic notifications, because that's what our job is. Advisory board, with the voice for you to the county and the county back to you. And any other government official that has something to tell us. Email on 11/12, we already mentioned that police, so I thank them for increasing patrols. And also on the 12th, a notification reports of the fireworks ignited along Shore Drive to Commissioner Denega. I have not gotten a response back, but that was only yesterday. Just wanted the county to know, because he is the direct line to the county exec, Steve M. Newhouse, and I think it would be a good idea if Mr. Newhouse knew that was happening, because fire departments should be notified, unfortunately. It's kind of a sad thing to talk about, but really we don't wanna, we want to belabor this point, because it is that much, a big deal. So, DPW communications with the board on the 28th, Ryan McGuire, Deputy Commissioner, gave us the green light for the seasonal drawdown, so that we had talked about a little while ago. And to communicate with the engineer James Rognetta about how long and, the dates. So that will be forthcoming, you'll learn about that in the coming weeks. Secretary to the Commissioner, Mary Heiferman, on the 8th, she actually sent out, the official, once again, because so we've had this laborer one job that's been available, which is our maintenance person. So as we all know, Tom Lark was here for 8 to 9 years. He's a local, he's retired, and we've been looking to fill that position. But it's a county position, it's a DPW position, it's part-time, it's 19 hours. You start, as they call it, I think it's actually called a grade 5. And after 1 year, I guess the grade 5 is like a probationary period. And then, the second year, I believe, you go to a grade 6, so it's a change in, your benefits and a change in pay. And there's a description of the vacancy announcement that's on the Orange County, DPW website. I think, Jason, we're here, I'm curious, did you put a blue link in our email? Do you have a question, Myron? Anybody have-
No questions.
Oh, were you gonna venture off into the internet? Oh, I thought you were gonna go check the website.
Gosh,
I was like, oh, he's getting frisky over here.
Yeah. shut us right down.
So it's 19 hours a week. We already have received 6, now 7 applications from the DPW. And it's been stated the DPW will assist, but they will not hold the interviews. So we've been trying to get some feedback. So to be completely transparent, one of the reasons why this job has not kind of happened already is because we've been trying to, as a board, reach out and get guidance on HR policies. And we've been getting this. So I said, we'll help you, but we won't hold the interviews. None of us are a hired member of the county government, so we want to make sure we do things the correct way. So that is how I would like to, as the chair, put it out there. Further clarification has been after the commissioner, but no reply yet has been regarding the guidance on the board with the HR regulations. But we at least now have multiple applications in hand. I think as a board, what we would like to do is simply contact those folks and get a preliminary going. And then before we have an official interview.
Yeah, it'd be best to do that just so we could be sure that people know that we've received their application and that the job is still vacant. We don't want those who've gone through the effort to put their application in to feel that it's been ignored or they're not a viable candidate. So again, we're looking for a little bit of guidance before we get more into the depth of interviewing folks, but we would like to reach out. So if you know of somebody who has applied and they haven't heard back from them, that'd be great if you could just reach out and let them know that everybody is still under consideration.
Absolutely. Yeah, so anybody that has put it in piggyback, if you put an application in even 2 months ago, it's still on the table. And that has been one of the points that we've been kind of putting to the GW is like, it's going to expire and told no. But how long would somebody be waiting for a callback? So I would like to contact these people very soon and get this moving, because of those people, like, we can certainly talk about the job, we can tell you about what is here, but if the candidate has questions back to us about pay and liabilities and a lot of legal speak, how are we going to responsibly answer those questions? That's where any member of this board should want to have, I believe, the county government over our shoulder to make sure that we have proper answers and have one of those folks in the room. It may have been done differently 10 years ago, but this is how we would like to do it. We want to cover ourselves. All right, any questions about the laborer job, maintenance job? Any? By the way, anybody that's at home, you can chime in. It's kind of lonely here. Bill has been nice enough, he lives here, he showed up, and otherwise we're normally looking at a bunch of chairs. And it would be nice if anybody had a question and you didn't wait completely to the end. I know you're very nice for showing up, thank you. It's good to be informed, but we would like some crowd participation. So. Okay, on to part 7, late health treatments. That's not going on. There's nothing to report. lake testing, the GEI, which is internal, and the watershed. There's nothing to report sadly, because we didn't get our equipment until only 2 months ago, and we have not been trained on exactly how to use the dissolved oxygen sensor, and there's currently no testing plan. And it's sad because we had a good amount of data from last year, which is still quite valuable, but we need to be able to continue with our program. And that's something that has been held back because DPW has not finished executing the contract extension for GEI. So GEI is the company that we talked about dozens of times. Alejandro Reyes was here 2 meetings ago, gave a presentation, if you're here for that. That gentleman still has money in our budget to use to help us, to answer questions, to come and train. But at the moment, the contract is not valid. It expired at the end of July and has not been extended. DPW full well knows it and has been reported back to us that it is in progress. That's where we are. For testing. And the window is closing for lake testing as it is. As we're into November, the temperature of the lake is dropping, so we're almost done this year. Fred is not here, but I can speak to the DEC grant for invasive species. The grant submission period has, of course, concluded. DEC, this is good news. So another thing that is all but finished, the DEC is ready to process the payment once the final narrative report is provided explaining each performance measure that is outlined in the work plan of the contract. So what Fred had been doing, been the point person over the last year and a half. He had a little bit of assistance from Walter Blows, a tiny bit of assistance from me, but Fred's baby. He has been trying to take this across the goal line, and we really need this to happen. It's free money from the state that would come and help us. It's approximately $85,000 to $86,000 potentially that we could then use for lake health and maybe equipment. So it's something we just need to finish up. They simply need a final 1 to 2 page report, a narrative on what all those measures are. And we've been told that once that's done, it will process final award. That's good news. That's good news. All right, part 10, external sewer and municipality updates. Anybody have anything to add about it? I just put a note in here about Cornwall Social because we haven't spoken about it for a while. They had a sewer connectivity issue. Is there anybody here that's heard anything about it, wants to report, or?
While I don't have any official form of communication, I have been in contact with somebody. They had explained about Cornwall Social's need for, it's called a dry hydrant, to be completed, and that the Army Corps of Engineers had to inspect that. And until that was processed, that they were temporarily in holding pattern, because that's the next step. So that's the most recent I've heard. They still can do certain improvements on the property. I'm not specifically sure what is allowed versus what is not allowed. I've seen some activity because I'm pretty close to the area over there, but the project is still in progress, but at a slow pace.
Thank you. And anybody that's new to the area that may be viewing this, whether it's tonight or it's podcast form months from now, and you don't know what Cornwall Social is, just please search back on this YouTube channel for Beaver Dam Lakes meetings, and there was even a special meeting once, and I want to say it was what, early spring, late winter of 22. That we did
A couple years ago, it was a big.
I think Erica was chair, and we were mostly hybrid. I think we were hybrid.
Yeah.
And Jason may have been huge, right? And we had a large information meeting, the community got a chance to speak out, specifically the Beaver Dam community about Cornwall Social and trying to, what it all meant to us. You know, this was after the scoping session that was at Cornwall High School. So it's been a big news for the community for quite a long time, but it's been in a holding pattern. But the municipality part, or sorry, the external sewer part, is that it was contingent on their eventual sewer hookup because the community, and we did not want to know about anything coming into the lake. And residents and board members and local politicians alike will agree that that needed to be handled correctly. So we're thankful that it has it's been put under the microscope for a long time. Okay. Reserves in Orange County property use. Somebody want to read that part? Or we read every?
Sure, sure. Non-residents are not permitted. Please report trespassing and vandalism to the police department, as we have been talking about at various points in this meeting. All guests must be accompanied by a resident. That doesn't mean that they can go over there and say, hey, I know Johnny on Ash Avenue. You're supposed to have people and escort them to the reserves. Well, it's a little bit to ask, but if you're gonna have guests, we expect you to come down and escort them so that they know the rules and regulations. And as far as attempting to transfer registration stickers and voting stickers, please know that violations, you can have your sticker removed, and then we will not give you another sticker in the future. You could be subject to fines from law enforcement. No gas-powered motors are allowed on Beaver Dam Lake at any time. Of course, there's an exception for emergency services, fire, the police department, and fishing. Folks, all anglers should possess a valid New York State fishing license, know the rules. You're under 16. I don't believe that you need that, but the point is that if you're going to be fishing, and we do have presence of the DEC or the police around, you could get a fine if you don't have your license. Boat storage policy, which we're going to switch into. I know that as a group that we've been working on improving the reserves over the last couple of years to move out some stagnant boats and create better storage fixtures so that more people could take advantage of the reserve and the privilege of being able to store their boat on a public reserve. So again, Chris wants to talk about it. It's something that it's been close to heart for all of us. Again, we invest a lot of energy and time. So lakefront owners, which most people who are on the board here are actually lakefront owners, and this is not work that's going to really benefit me directly, but I'm heavily involved in it because it's important to the community. So, Chris.
Right, and you know, and on this agenda, just to be transparent to everybody, you know, there's a whole section here, it's called Beaver Dam Lake Resident Permit Program, it's part 3, it's a breakdown within governing law, local law 8, and the bylaws and how it shakes out as into what you're allowed to do, how you can store a boat. We're not gonna read through all of that, there will be an email coming shortly with this document in it, so you have an opportunity to read it. But last meeting, what we did was, like, for instance, I'll read one of them, point 9, for safety considerations, boats should maintain a minimum of 100 feet from the clearance of the dam. So there's a lot of different rules and regulations in it. There's something in here that it says boats may be stored on district reserves 1 through 3, 5, 1 through 3 and 5 through 8 only in designated storage areas. So these are directions as to what you have to do if you want to have a sticker. Jason ran out, that's okay. If we can see that this is, we were going to show you what your new stickers are going to look like. The orange stickers are gone. We are switching to light blue. It had been begged, did you see it?
I can try it.
All right, so Larry's gonna
Fred.
try. He's still open, right? I don't know. Just do one, see what happens. Are you sharing on screen? So maybe it'll work, maybe, nope, that's not, that's the one, that was the contract, so it's one of the other. So that's a hang tag, so we will still have stickers, there will still be stickers just the same. Now, for many people that have complained or pushed back, I don't wanna put an orange sticker or a sticker of any kind on my car, on my window, on my paint. You have answered your plea. So now that excuse is gone. You have to park your vehicle on, and the police force already knows about this. Both police chiefs already know about this. So come 2025, they will be looking for, and if possibly, is that being shared? Can we get a confirmation at home that you guys see that on the screen? So that is a hang tag.
So hopefully.
Anybody? Anybody wave, anybody unmute? See, That was the hang tag, and the other two are stickers. One is boat and one is car. They're reverse colors of each other. So, and then Fred would also like to know that what we did. AIs and everything. That what we did was autos are starting at number 1,000. Boats are starting at 3,000 and hang tags are starting at 5,000. This is basically Fred bookkeeping and the board's bookkeeping stuff. We can just know by looking at a number what flavor you're using. So if you don't want boat stickers, I'm sorry, you have to have a boat sticker. If you want a car sticker, you have to use a hang tag, and that tag should never, ever, ever be driving drive the car and drive and speaking anymore. Sorry, it's been a long day. You should never drive the car with a hang tag. It should be there in your glove box or put away in your visor, and you park on reserve and take it out and hang.
Yeah.
There will be a whole email about all of this to come.
They couldn't see it.
So no, they didn't see it.
No, but,
All right.
but
So
I tried.
now-
I got to pile up, so
Yeah, no, that's a good
I don't want to
idea.
shut the video down.
So.
Christina knows how bad I am with technology.
Maybe it'll work. So, here we go. So, just to get an idea,
Yeah.
there you go. So the circles are the parking and the boat. And then the hang tag is front and back, and that is for,
And when are
Your
those available?
car.
Rebecca?
they're actually being printed any day, and we'll have them starting in December, probably into next year. So
They,
Fred has been loving this and hating this because he's like.
so there's a lot of work
we have
involved,
to
folks.
catalog the entire community. There are a lot of stickers out there that are falling
Yeah.
off, that aren't valid, that have been handed to a friend. So all that is done, and these will be under lock and key.
Yeah,
But yes, the boats will have to have the blue stickers, so you'll have plenty of time. Because one of the reasons why we wanted to do this in 2025 is that you have the winter time, many months to come and get this hashed out. And we will talk about it in the December meeting, exactly how we will unveil it. So there you go. That's the unveiling of the pretty blue
All right.
sticker for Beaver Dam Lake.
looks good.
So all we ever heard was the orange is ugly and this and that, so your answer, your call.
Looks good.
So, all right, and the suggested changes, which we had mentioned last meeting, the whole number is written on the sticker. For the boats, also on the hang tags, your license tag will go in that box. So that white box would be for your New York State license tag, so that will make it non-transferable. And if you have 3 vehicles, you're gonna need 3 hang tags. If you have 2 vehicles, you need 2, so other rules, basically, the board must be present when putting the sticker on, or the resident, this is where we're trying to be more modern, is you can take a photo of them. Take a photo of you and your sticker and the whole number, submit it to Beaver Dam Lake Board after, of course, we issue it to you. That's fine, but otherwise, just like what Rockland County does, or Mountain State Park does, you have to actually go to Tyrone Circle and bring your boat and have your PFD and have everything that's supposed to go in the boat, and they want you to put the sticker on
So
the
you get a
boat.
full inspection.
Full inspection, they wanna know everything. So we are at least asking you to do that, if you could bring your boat here. It would be probably pretty arduous for board members to meet up with you.
I nominate Chrissy Wilger to be the official
I think
boat
we nominate
inspector.
every board member that has ever been in past and present to help out with this, but anyway, just so you get an idea, so if you take a photo of it, we'll accept it. Boats may never be stored on the ground, this is a new thing. Boats may never be secured to a tree. I mean, it's new and it's not, it was never really official. Boats, all it ever said in the bylaws was that it should be where boats are designated. And the board had the right to move it. Well, what we're going to be adding to it is that if it's tied to a tree, it's getting cut. If it's tied to a fence, it's getting cut. If it's left on the grass for the landscaper to hit the mower, it's getting moved, something like that. So we want this place to look nicer, more organized, property values will go up, and we won't have, hopefully, theft. And, places like Reserve 8 that have no room right now for anybody that just moved here to put boats. Larry mentioned that in the last meeting. that the boats at Reserve 8 are ancient. We haven't gotten to it yet. We've gotten rid of all the boats that are unspoken for, but there are boats that are over there, that have been there forever, and they're just taking up space. They never go out on the lake. And we'd like to put new racks there. So we have the lumber, racks are being built. It's just gonna take some time. It's all done on volunteer. Pedal boats cannot be permitted without a rain or footwell cover. They attract and harbor millions and millions of mosquito larvae. And that's just something that we're adding to this. The DEC liked this addition, by the way. All locks must be combination style. Lock combinations must be given to the board. It's something to think about. For emergency purposes, EMS purposes. Until there's a pushback, an argument on it, we have not ratified any of this. But these are just topics that we want to put out there, that if anybody has anything to say about it, please put it in writing. We'll give you an opportunity to speak at the end of this meeting. We'll give you an opportunity to speak at the end of the next meeting. When we vote on this, but once it's voted upon, it will be forwarded to the DPW and Orange County government. And it will be an amendment to this portion of the storage bylaws, okay? All boats without a sticker will be removed immediately by the board. Kind of gonna have a bit of a holding area here on Reserve 4. And the board reserves the authority to ask residents to take boats back home during winter months, which is December through March. Now, because the lake is so low right now, pretty much every pontoon boat is just about off the lake. Probably want to get your boat off the lake, because you don't know if you hit something low on the way out, if you're getting your boat removed for the winter, which I think almost everybody is. Is your boat still in? Or Kevin's boat's still in, I think there's a few others. They know the lake really well. There's some trouble spots as the lake gets lower. Really got to be careful. The board also is going to look into, mentioned it, I think in the last meeting, about if anybody wants to help, we need to mark some of those areas where stumps are sticking up and there's rocks sticking up. We have some older buoys that we can attach to those old stumps, just to have a little bobber out there, just to let you know, hey, don't run into it. I think it was a good, logical for us. So, yeah, all right. I think that is all with the vote, stickers and all that. All right, community events, past events, go.
Shift into community events. So, of course, building community, getting to know your neighbors, making new friends. It's all part of a quality of life that a lot of us really would love to see continue to increase around here. We've made some great efforts and seen a lot of positive things happen over the last few years, and we are so happy about that. We did have our chili cook-off, and congratulations to Onika Jordan for taking home the crown for our third chili cook-off. We didn't take attendance at this event, but we gauging between 80 to 100 total people came. A little bit lower than normal, but the weather was incredibly good, and a lot of people had plans to do other things. So, future events, we believe on 12/15, if Santa is available, we will be looking at a Christmas tree lighting and holiday celebration here at the community building, which we do historically pull off every year, and it's always a bigger treat every year. We have a couple of ladies who do outstanding job with the decor and everything. So, well, we may ask for some volunteers this year, as right now we don't have our building maintenance man who used to do the decorating around here, and maybe we're gonna need a couple folks to come put up the tree, help decorate the building. That would be awesome. On 12/6, Ryan Dalton and the comedy team, we may be coming back for another stand-up comedy show here at the community building. Well received. We've had upwards of 50 people show up, and we've ran 3 community. They're free. They don't cost you anything. Of course, we do ask that you could tip the performers, because they do come from a long distance and gas is expensive. These are professionals who do this for a living, and they volunteer their time to entertain us. So on 12/6, we are in consideration right now of running our 4th stand-up comedy show. I'm also working with a few of our community members regarding a Hanukkah celebration or a menorah lighting. Unfortunately, last year's menorah really didn't cut the mustard. It broke down on us. All the light bulbs went out a number of times. And there was a fundraising done to purchase that item. So we've returned that item and we are working with a community-based organization to help us get a better unit using those funds and also hopefully get a donation from them so that we can run a quality event and really, really everybody know that everybody is included when it comes to Beaver Dam Lake. So if you have great ideas and you want to celebrate or you want to run something or you want to have something held here at the community center, first, everybody's got to be allowed. Second, if you've got a great idea, we're going to ask you to participate. You can bring forward all the ideas, but you have to volunteer and you have to be willing to organize the event. We can't charge for events, so everything is donations and free. And again, it's open to everybody. So we appreciate you. We love to get to know you. I know that me being on the board in the last 3.5 years, I easily met 200 more people that I would not have met easily. And that has just grown my spirit of community exponentially. And if you're in your home and you're not seeing it, get out there, check it out. You'll be really surprised. There's a lot of friendly new people in the area. Not that the old people weren't friendly, but the point is meet your neighbors, meet new friends, and build your community. So with that said, I'll pass it off back to Chris. I know we're looking for any other comments from our board members. If anybody had anything to add, I know Chris is probably hoarse in the voice from all his days' work and lots of things going on.
Kindergarten students, first graders.
Yeah, so we have a couple of board members here right now. We have Chrissy Wilger here, who's been appointed for the last couple of months and certainly a fresh face. Really great to have her with us. And a lifelong community resident. We're just thrilled to have her. So anything that you want to bring up or? Okay. Thank you. And we do have Mr. Dr. Kevin Boyle here. He's been our rock on the board. He's been here for the longest amount of time, I believe 9 years.
At least, yeah.
And
One more year, you get a mind.
we can say Dr. Boyle is the boat captain around here. He does volunteer a lot of his time to go about and do a lot of things that you secretively see happen quietly. The ropes get put up quietly. There's C-SLAP samples being done. And that's thanks to Dr. Boyle. So Kevin, anything to add?
Just December 15th at 6 p.m. I think is when powers to be will be available.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had heard, that the 14th wasn't gonna be good, but the 15th.
And I just noticed there's another resident, and I know it's not, you see that there was another proposal, there's another event later in the month.
Oh, yeah,
So
yes,
that, not that we need to speak about it. I just
Yeah.
Saw it, okay.
yeah,
So, and anybody, just understand, Larry said this, everything has to be open to the public. This building is for the use of Beaver Dam residents. But there is a building use form that needs to be put in 30 days, prior, so we have enough time to.
yeah, there's things that have to be discussed. So we want to be sure that we're being good neighbors to our community, so that we can't expect that we're gonna have a big open rock concert and we're gonna be rocking away all night and blowing people's windows out. So if we're gonna plan something, we want there to be some thought behind it. We want people to all come together and agree. And sometimes we can have a little bit of a variance, like the timing of things. So we changed the timing of our last, we had a beach party outside, a dance beach party, and it was expressed that maybe we didn't want it to go so late into the evening, so we dialed it back an hour. And while we didn't have a ton of people show up, it still was a really nice event, and it brought about 7 to 8 nice people together, and we had a lovely, lovely time. So that's just, yeah. So we do have one fabulous resident here. We have Bill. Bill, do you have anything you want to throw out there or anything, any questions?
Any questions? It's nice to see that this is all happening. Been here a long time and there's nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like all the bass.
that's good to hear. It's good to hear. Former board members would also like to hear that.
And anybody who's at home, any of our viewing audience, anyone have anything that they'd like to bring up? I can unmute you. I'll do my best. And again, we appreciate you tuning in. Please spread the word. I know that these videos are able to be viewed again on YouTube once they're posted. But it's great to have a lot of people engaged and in tune. I don't know if the trees were shared. Yes. We did talk about the trees, Jason, briefly.
Oh, it's Jason.
We didn't talk about the variety of trees we might be interested in, but we were mentioning that we might want on reserve number 4 to consider having some nice new trees, not saplings, but something that was substantial that wouldn't be affected by
I gave
any
them all
runoff.
one, Jason. I asked everybody to come up with trees and go talk to your local
Thank you,
arborist and see
Eileen.
what would be best to go down the driveway.
So spread the word. That's the big thing. Again, it's all a volunteer effort. And I mean, I'm very happy to volunteer my time as many others are. But there are people out there who just may not know there's an opportunity to serve the community in this way. And we really would appreciate it if you could just, ring the bell, let people know we do have an election coming up. You can, if you want to dip your foot in the pool here and be part of our fantastic board here. We'd love to have you. Of course, if there's many people that run, there'll be an actual election and there'll be people who won't win. If it's uncontested, obviously you're gonna win, but hopefully we'll have some surprises. So we have 2 weeks to get those signatures, those nomination forms into the county. So please, if you plan on doing it, or if you need any help, I'm happy to help. It's not a board responsibility to help you to run for the board, but I've done it in the past. And if you would like, you can reach out to me personally and I'll give you a little bit of guidance.
Thank you, Larry. So we're doing pretty well on time. We're probably about 63 minutes. If there's no other board member comments, I just have one.
Good.
In the wind, please residents with trash, especially on Cornwall, it's twice a week. Leave piles, some people put bags out, secure them. You'll notice that some residents actually make wooden corrals. If they have quite a bit, they have a system where they put their cans in the corral, it won't blow away. That's nice, but there's some newer residents that maybe just put a bag out or 5 bags. There's cats, there's raccoons and things that'll pick into the trash and it has food in it. And on these windy days that we've been getting, next thing you know, it's everywhere. We've already mentioned that board members here are lakefront people usually, so we're really cognizant about what's gonna go into those culverts and what's gonna wash into the lake. If it doesn't go into the lake today, tomorrow, next week, next spring, it will eventually make the lake. It all goes downhill. It literally goes downhill. That's what Beaver Dam Lake is. It's a bunch of hills and pipes and a lake at the bottom. Anything that you don't pick up will eventually make the lake. So please secure it. I unfortunately had to even embarrass neighbors a couple times and in a very kind way, but it's just getting to be a bit much sometimes. And I wish people would just tie the bags up and put them in a can with a lid, maybe with a strap on top. I don't know.
Yeah, the big thing, again, and I don't want to make anything any longer, but with leaves, I see a lot of people are putting leaves in plastic bags. Plastic bags are no longer acceptable. I know New Windsor will pick them up, but Supervisor Bedetti explained that will take a lot of extra resources and time because they have to open those bags up physically. Yeah, so
Separated.
it's supposed to be paper bags. I believe you can still use barrels for those in New Windsor. In Cornwall, it's only paper bags. Please help to prevent the leaves from getting into the lake. Or you can mulch them up with your mower and feed your grass if you so choose, but just another friendly PSA.
All right, if that is all, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye,
All in favor?
very good. Thank
Great
you so
night,
much.
everybody.
I'll
See you in December.
do my best here to shut us down. And me.